Om Namah Shivaya. I am Professor rudramohapatra, an astrologer from Bhubaneswar, Odisha, India. Today, let me say something about two other abused concepts in Hindu astrology, that is Badhaka and Maraka. Badhaka and Maraka. So, what are these terms or concepts of astrology connote and their applications, their over exaggerations? I will explain you in detail. So this video may take much more longer than expected, may exceed 1 hour or around 1.5 hours, like that. So as I make a video for the serious learners of astrology, I personally believe that you need very long videos, 1 hour, 2 hours, for your learning purposes. Even though I say that you have to learn systematically from some institute under somebody's guidance, you have to read a lot of books, not only by watching my videos. So I have said you about the Kala Sarpadosa, Sunny Sade Sati, in very small videos earlier, which were not mentioned in the astrological classics. So, unlike those concepts, Badhaka and Maraka are the two concepts which are very well explained in our astrological classics. So, first, let's get into Badhaka. See, Badhaka means that obstructs, that prohibits, that hampers. So, this the word does mean. If we go for a classical review of our Hindu classics, explanation of Badhaka is found well in Jataka Parijata, the very recent classics of Hindu astrology. Many scholars say that also Parasara has indicated about this, but I have not seen that Parasara has explained in details about this concept. Maybe some indicators, yes, some indications, not a specific explanation about Badhaka. Why I'm saying so? Because you read the books, and I remember last year I produced one research paper known as Bandhana Yoga in modern astrology, where I have mentioned that Bandhana Yoga is not mentioned in Brihad Parasara Bhashastra. But later on, another very good writer, Sachin Malhotra ji from Delhi, who is a direct student of Ken Rao. He said, "No, sir, the article is very good, but in Bruhat Parasara Horasatra Hindi edition, it is mentioned." I say, I am following the English edition, and the exact chapters and other things he mentioned, I did not find in the English edition of the Bruhat Parasara Horasatra. So, essentially, I am saying that even the same book published by many publishers with editions and publishers, there may be there may be a chance of very minute variations in the shlokas. So keeping that in eye, I am saying that it may be in BPHS, but mostly Jataka Parijata explains about the Badhaka. So what does this Badhaka mean? 11th Lord for Charalagna, ninth Lord for Sthira Lagna, and seventh Lord for Dratmika Lagna shall be Badhaka only if conditions apply. Listen to these conditions. They simultaneously become the Lord of 64th Navamsa or 22nd Decanate, or Gulika is posited in the Rasi of that planet, or Mandi is posited in that Rasi of that planet. Gulika and Mandi I will say a little bit, but normally you can take either of his. So far as Badhaka is concerned, no need to take both of them. Hmm? Are you clear? I remember the same thing I asked in the classroom when I was a student, the professor, that how come the ninth lord will be Badhaka for sthira or fixed ascendant? And he was stormed. And from very that day, I left the class also, and I later on I did my research, published papers on that. You can find publications in modern astrology, uh, July 2021, Badhaka controversy, relevance of Badhaka in predictive astrology, the planets and forecast. Those things you can find in my website www.jyotisrudraj.in for your reading. I'm saying shlokas are also mentioned there. Yes. Now, Badhaka cannot be Badhaka if these conditions are not getting fulfilled. So, do not just look into any horoscope where it is a Datmika Lagna and the seventh lord is Badhaka. No, absolutely wrong astrology. You have to see whether that seventh lord is also having the lordship of 64th Navamsa, 22nd Decan, or Dekkana, Gulik, or Mandi is posited in the Rasi of that planet. Then only that planet will be considered as Badhaka for that ascendant. So before explaining you some chart, and just verbally, though I have the PowerPoints with me, but here I do not know how to apply. I'm just doing a recording and I'm not a professional in that. So maybe in some other live classes, if we conduct, I'm able to show the PPTs also. But just listen to me carefully. These are very easy calculations which you can do manually. So let us first discuss about the first concept, that is 64th Navamsa. Navamsa is equal to 3 degree 20 minutes. I do not know what our seers find in this Navamsa. They think let's divide the chart into this segment, one the Navamsa chart, and everywhere you will find the citation that if this planet is posited here in the D1 and here in the Navamsa, the prediction will like that. So Navamsa is unavoidable. The exact reason I even do not know why they have taken this Navamsa. Nine is everywhere, nine planets. Each nakshatra has got these nine padas. Sorry, these four padas. Is Rasi has got this Navamsa, nine Navamsas. So each nakshatra pada is equal to one Navamsa. That is 3 degree 20 minute, or it is 30 degree divided by the 9. Each Rasi has got 9 Navamsa. 12 Rasis, so 108 Navamsas in a chart. Anyway, let's don't ponder more into Navamsa. What is 64th Navamsa? Both 64th Navamsa and 22nd Drekkana are known as Khara in Hindu astrology. The Khara word is also mentioned in Jataka Parijata Sloka. Yes, Khara. Khara and Gulik. So what is this Khara? Khara is the commander in chief in Ravana's army. He was a Rakshasa. I'm not an expert in reading this Tulsi Ramayana, but one sloka I remember, sloka, doha, whatever you say. Kharadusan mohe sambalavanta, tinhe jo mare, buhi bhagavanta. Ravan is saying to, I don't remember, Ravan is saying this, that Khara and Dusan are already been killed. So who has killed them? It's the God only, nobody else. So Khara word is derived from that couplet. So both 64th Navamsa and 22nd Ekkana are known as the Khara. So now come to the 64th Navamsa. 64th Navamsa will fall in the 8th house. If you calculate, the 64th Navamsa will fall in the 8th house. Up to 7th house, 9 Navamsa, 63, then 64th Navamsa begins. So it will be in the 8th house. If Lagna is in the 3rd Navamsa, so 3rd Navamsa is 6 degree 40 to 10 degree. So 64th Navamsa that will be that range in the 8th house. In the 8th house, that 6 degree 40 to 10 will be the 64th Navamsa. And who will be the lord of that Navamsa? You can also calculate by applying the principle of Navamsa. If you remember the principle of counting, it's very easy in case of Navamsa. Let's take an example. Take the example of Aries itself, it will be easier for you. Lagna is Aries, 3rd Navamsa. So the 64th Navamsa is the third Navamsa of Scorpio. Now to find the Lord, as Scorpio is Sthira Rasi, you have to start counting from ninth from Scorpio. You have to start counting from ninth from Scorpio. So what will be ninth of Scorpio? Cancer. Cancer. Then this third Navamsa, three Navamsa you have to count. So Cancer, Leo and Virgo. So that will be, so Mercury is owning the Lordship here. For that 64th Navamsa Lord. Hmm. For Aries, we have to see the 11th Lord, that is Aquarius Saturn. However, so technically Mercury is not at all into picture. We have to see whether Saturn is becoming this Lord. So Saturn is not becoming. So the next condition we have to see whether Saturn is becoming the 22nd Rekana Lord. So 64th Navamsa you can know later. Let me give another example. Suppose take another any Dvatmika. Take it's Gemini in ascendant. So Capricorn is becoming the eighth house. So Gemini, suppose ascendant is in the seventh Navamsa. Seventh Navamsa is 10 degrees equal to 3 Navamsa. So 10 degree, 6 Navamsas over 20 degree to 23 degree, 20 minute is your seventh Navamsa. So you have to count the seventh Navamsa from Capricorn, because Capricorn is Chara. The count starts from itself. So it's coming 7 from Capricorn is coming Cancer. So Moon is the Lord there. I'm just explaining about the Navamsa. But what you should look for the Dvatmika Lagna, you have to look for the Jupiter here, because Pisces, seventh house is Pisces for Gemini. Sorry, your Sagittarius for Gemini. Yes. As I am saying from this mental calculation, so there may be a little bit, maybe I will take that charge to speak very correctly, but till so Sagittarius is becoming the seventh lord for Gemini. So the lord of that house is Jupiter. So here Jupiter is in question. I'm just check whether Jupiter is owning the 64th Navamsa. No. Okay, so this is how, if see that this is happening, then you can say Jupiter is a Badhaka. So it is not happening. So always check that manually. This is always best, because as also Guru Varken Rao says that when a chart is given to you, you must able to calculate the Navamsa, the Drekana very easily. You can see this planet is posited here, then where it will be in which Navamsa it will go. We are at the era of software. So the fourth house from Lagna in the Navamsa chart. I am just saying how to generate the Navamsa chart. Now the Navamsa chart is generated. Look at the Lagna chart. Same on the Gemini in ascendant. Sagittarius becoming the seventh house. So seventh lord here is Jupiter. Whether Jupiter will Badhaka or not, look for the Navamsa chart. From the Lagna, the fourth house. From the Lagna, the fourth house, if owned by Jupiter, then it is Badhaka for that ascendant. Here is a very small tricky thing I am saying. Sometimes also some astrologers skip it, but I am saying just remember it. Jupiter owns both the signs, Sagittarius and Pisces. Okay, so the fourth house in the Navamsa, if it is Pisces, then also Jupiter is becoming the Badhaka. Because Jupiter owns both the house, so the lord of the fourth Navamsa is Jupiter. Fourth Navamsa from Lagna. Another tricky thing. Class 6 Jataka Parijata clearly says to see the 64th Navamsa Lord from Moon. 64th Navamsa from Lord from Moon. Remember in the Navamsa chart, any planets, if you are moving 4 from it, it is automatically becoming the 64th from itself. Okay, that is how Navamsa is formed. So if you take the fourth house from Moon, that is said to be the 64th Navamsa Lord. So far as class 6 are concerned, Jataka Parijata is saying that 64th house from Moon, not from Lagna. But technically, we have got three Lagnas normally. One is your Janma Lagna, Chandra Lagna, and Surya Lagna. You can analyze and combining the three Lagnas, this chart is being formed known as Sudarsana Chakra. Here you are seeing, I am repeating, here you are seeing the 64th Navamsa from Lagna, not from Moon in the Lagna chart. I am repeating, we have given the examples of 64th Navamsa calculations from Lagna. If it is Gemini Lagna, if it is Aries Lagna, and Lagna is in this Navamsa, then 8th house from itself, the same Navamsa of the 8th house will become the 64th Navamsa. The Lord Shiv, owned by that planet will become the Lord of the 64th Navamsa. Very clear. We are not taking the Rasi, same. Rasi or Chandra Lagna, same. Where Moon is posited, that's it. We are not taking. So, technically, the 64th Navamsa Lord should be seen from the Lagna of Navamsa chart. The fourth house in the Navamsa chart, and the Lord of that house is the Lord of your 64th Navamsa. Okay. Similar thing Maharshi Parasara has also said regarding this Mangal Dosh. He's saying that you take the position of Mangal from Moon because it is marriage kind of thing, so you take from Moon. But nowadays we are also taking from the Lagna. So this basic few amendments are necessary. Not amendments, technically if you see, as you are looking from Lagna, you go for the Lagna from the Navamsa chart. If you are looking from the Chandra Lagna, it will be very clear in my next statement when to look for Chandra Lagna. Chandra Lagna, then you take the fourth house from Moon in the Navamsa chart. Clear? Badhaka, what it can do is, if any planet is becoming Badhaka for any ascendant, it will give you serious mental and physical pain. Serious mental and physical troubles. Physical troubles are what? Disease. Mental troubles are the other tensions. Suppose that person is absolutely into this mental tension kind of things. Not at all any. Of course, mental tensions are the prompters of ill health, but till then, you may see it from moon, but not highly recommended. Just follow this method. So, eighth house from the Lagna owns the 64th Navamsa. So also the 22nd Drakana. So see, eighth house is so much problematic. And also you see Jataka Parijata, and yes, Jataka Parijata especially has focused on this eighth house, Randra, Randresa, Randrajukta, Randradruštva, eighth house. Not like Ruth Parasarora Shastra. This is what I call as basic, improvements in astrology. Parasara has written some classical astrology which is again developed, and as Vaidyanatha's Jataka Parijata is the very recent one, so we get some new things here. But Vaidyanatha Dikshit clearly mentioning from the beginning of that book that I am just compiling whatever written, but till then you will feel, you will find some additions. So 54th Navamsa, you are clear. Now let's move to 22nd Decanate or Drekana. We don't have any English word for Navamsa. Navamsa, Navamsa. The Sanskrit word is Navamsa. The English word is also Navamsa. Here, but for Drekana or one third of a Rasi, we have got the Decanate, the English word. Hmm? So let's talk about this Drekana. This sounds well. So one third of a Rasi, 10 degree. So from this, if you from the Lagna to the seventh house, it is 7 cross 3 is equal to 21 decanates you have crossed. So 22 decanates fall in 8th house. Clear? Similar thing, you also calculate decanate from your face. I mean, it's quite easy. If yes, if Lagna is in the first decanate, so the counting will start from itself. If it is in the second decanate, so then the counting it will take to. So same thing. Let's take the example of Aries. If Lagna is in the first decanate, that means 0 to 10 degree, maybe 8 degree something, 3 degree something, whatever. It is owned by Mars only. If it is second decanate, that is 10 degree to 20 degree, it will be the fifth house, that is Leo, or the Lord is Sun. If it is the third decanate, it is the ninth house, that is Sagittarius, Lord is Jupiter. 159 are the Dharma Trikona. You have to see, here we don't need to take the sign, whether it is Datmika or whatever. In case of Taurus, same thing. First is owned by Taurus, second is Virgo, then the last one is by Saturn. So it's quite easy. Suppose the Lagna is in the second decanate of Aries. So this 22nd decanate will be the second decanate of Scorpio. Right? So the second decanate of Scorpio will be owned by Jupiter or Pisces, because you have to count 5 fifth from that. Clear? Had it been the Third decade, then the Lord is Cancer. Okay. So similarly, here you just look at the eighth house and its degree, then count from there. We are not because you have to take the 64th Navamsa and 22nd Rekana, that is the eighth house. So take the nature of eighth house while calculation the Navamsa and the Rekana, not the Lagna itself. Just to find the range of the 64th Navamsa and 22nd Rekana, you just see which range it belongs to in the eighth house. But the nature of eighth house for calculation of the Navamsa and the range of Drikana in the eighth house for the calculation of Drikana is necessary. Same thing. So, in case of this Aries, Saturn is not going to become the lord of this 22nd Drikana. Either it is Mars or Jupiter or Moon. Okay, not possible. There are many applications of Drikana. A very good book, I remember. The book is by Colonel Ekegod, who was a student of Guru Ken Rao. The book name is also The Drikkana, possibly. Very good book. Maximum applications on Drikkana are mentioned there. I always refer books so that you don't have any questions to ask somebody, sir, which book to read. Fortunately, astrological books are now easily available by Amazon and not at all costly. Like the books you are seeing back of me, those are highly collectible books, but astrological books are not like that. You can easily afford it. Anyway, so the first, say Deccan is known as Narada, second is Agastha, third is Durvasa. There is also male Deccana, female Deccana, so don't get into that. Only just see whether this 22nd Lord is who and whether he is for which ascendant it is going to be the 22nd Lord, Deccan Lord. So, ascendant wise, like whether it is the seventh Lord for the Atmika ascendant, whether it owns a owns the 22nd Deccan. Fine. Now, again, very easy method, the use of software. I just said you how to look at the Deccan manually. Suppose now the Deccan chart is calculated. The eighth house of the D3 or Deccana chart is the lord of the 22nd Deccana. Now we are very clear. In the software, when we are looking at any horoscope, just look at the Navamsa, which is the lord of the fourth house, and look at the Deccana, which is the lord of the eighth house. Whether the prospective Badhaka is having this lordship or not. Clear? Very, very clear. Final, another example I am giving. Whatever, let's one Libra ascendant. Chara. See. So for Chara Lagna, the 11th Lord is going to be Badhaka. So here 11th Lord is Sun. So see, as per the range of ascendant, Libra is in the, suppose, second Navamsa, right? So here the second Navamsa of Taurus, the Lord will become the, if owning the, if becoming Sun, then it is Badhaka. So let's do the calculation manually. So it is torus is sthira. So you have to count from 9. That is Capricorn. Second Navamsa, Capricorn and Aquarius. So the Lord is Saturn, not Sun. Not there. Second Navamsa means also first Drekana. So the first Drekana of Taurus, the Lord is Taurus itself, Venus. So Sun, even if the 11th Lord is not owning the 64th Navamsa Lordship or 22nd Drekana Lordship. So cannot be a Badhaka. So cannot be a Badhaka. Hmm. Now I will see, sir, then this one 5-9 combination for Drekana. And most of the ascendant we know, their Yogakaraka planet will become the lord of that Drekana. 159, the Trikona lords. So only in case of Sthira Lagna, hmm, and last decadent, the lordship is there. Uh, Sthira, yeah, it's ninth. But don't worry, you just look at the Drekana chart, 8th house, and Lord of that, and 64th house. 64th Navamsa, look for the 4th house in the Navamsa chart. I will not say these things more. You will not exhibiting something if you are not listening to me very carefully. Then not all. Few beginners may find it difficult. Not all at all. There are many who even whenever I utter the ascendant and the degree, they can find out that what is the 64th Navamsa and who is the Lord of 64th Navamsa or 22nd Dekkana. So now let's move to the other dimension explained by Vaidyanatha Dikshit, that is Gulika or Mandi. Gulika or Mandi. 90% astrologers say they are same. 10% say they are not the same. I am with both of them. I am with both of them. Mandi is a recent development to Gulik because you find the citation in Sarvartha Chintamani at the son of Yama. Gulika, they say at the son of Saturn. Okay. So now let me say use the word clone, not son. It is said that during the birth of Indrajit, Ravana, the great demon, a great devotee of Lord Mahadeva, Visharva Putra, so highly knowledgeable also. Anyway, he tried to control all the planets, but Saturn tried to escape from one house to the other. So Ravana cut the leg of Saturn. Out of that blood spatter come Gulika. So Gulika is not your son. Offsprings, father, mother, then offsprings. It is clone. It is in our scripture, it is always known as son. Something comes from your blood. Raktansu, Shwetansu are technically the term for cloning. Yes. So it is a clone of Saturn. So clone are more malefic than the generator itself. You know that genetics little bit because we manipulated the genetics now little bit. Those who have little idea on the medicine they can understand it. So Gulik is said to be much more dangerous than Saturn too. Hmm? Even if Saturn as being a planet has got much more good significations like karma, the karma karaka, ayu karaka. But Gulik normally in Upachaya 3, 6, 10, 11, not even 10, 3, 6, 11, Trisadaya. Trisadaya is always a subset to Upachaya houses. Gulik is said to be good only posited singularly. It is a Kalavada Upagraha of Saturn. Yes, Upagraha of Saturn I understand. There are two things, Upagrahas and Aprakasa Grahas. Saturn, Upagraha is Gulik. Jupiter, it is known as Yamakantaga. Yamagantaka. Yes. The bell tolls for thee. So Ghanta, Yamagantaka. These are Kalabala Upagrahas. There are certain Apakrasa Grahas too, like Dhuma, Upaketu. They are not Upagrahas. They are the Aprakasa Grahas giving the malefic results of some Grahas. So don't get into that. We may make a video later on. But Gulika is Upagraha of Saturn. So this is how Gulika, the mythology says about the genesis of Gulika. Now, how it is calculated? Very, very easy. These Saturn Bela you have to find from the Dinamana and Ratrimana based on the birth. Suppose the native is born at 3:30 p.m. That is daytime birth. So you find the Dinamana from sunset to sunrise. So it is sunrise to sunset, I know. But the formula is sunset to sunrise. Or the result will come in minus. Sunset to sunrise divided by 8. You have to divide it 8 position. So 8 persons you get. Okay. Now, who is the Baresa or the Lord of the day of birth? For Shukravara Varasa is Shukra. For Sanivara Varasa is Sani. For Ravivara Varasa is Ravi or Surya. So you alert him the first person and then go on. When the person of that Saturn will come, that is Gulika. Example, let's do it. 6:30 to 6:30, you got a division, you got one person. Suppose it is Saturday birth. So the first person, 6:30 to 7:45 possibly, the range belongs to Saturn. The person come birth is at 3:30 p.m. But this first person belongs to Saturn. So the Lagna rising in the eastern horizon at that time will be the Gulika Lagna, or the Rasi where Gulika will be posited. Little bit doubt here. Used to. It is not actually. If you read the scriptures very carefully, doubts will not be there with you. Sir, if the range begins from 6:30 and it ends at 7:46, that one of the portion you find that from sunset to sunrise you take, and one person is coming, suppose 1.5 hours. So from 6:30 you add 1 hour, and 1.5 hour is 7. 6:30 to 7. Which time we will take as Gulika? The rising 6:30 or the 7 or in between what? Clearly it is mentioned by Parasara in chapter 3 in the Gulika Pranapada calculation. Jat Lagna Udyat. When the Lagna is rising, that means you have taken the first range, that means 6:30. This is the first limit. This is the last limit. In any range, there are two limits, 6 to 8. So 6 is the first limit. 6:30 to take it 8 o'clock is the range you get. Because 1:30 calculators, I told you there might be whenever I'm saying little bit calculation issues come up. Verbally, I'm saying instead of 8, I might be saying 7, but you understand the point here. Okay. So, Jat Lagna Udyet. The beginning time you take as Gulika. Suppose it is in such a range that 6:30 is also ending, in the last range, and now it is 6:30 also beginning. You take 6:31, not a problem. Hmm? But the rising time, exactly the first range time is coming, that time is Gulika. So you can see it by just altering the time in the software where Gulik is posited with the degree of Gulik also in that Lagna. So if that Gulik has got a placement in the 7th, 9th, and 11th houses, then the Lord is said to be Badhaka. Then the Lord is said to be Badhaka for the respective Lagnas. But if Gulika is not posited, suppose for any take any suppose no, let's take one or whichever not let's take the Virgo ascendant. So being dual ascendant, the seventh house, that is the Pisces, Jupiter is said to be the Badhaka. If Gulika is either in Pisces or Sagittarius, if Gulika is either in Pisces and Sagittarius, then Jupiter will be Badhaka. Then Jupiter will be Badhaka. All these Badhakas will give their results during the Dasa only. These are not the promises of horoscope. That you have got Jupiter is Badhaka, that will be Badhaka during its Dasa. Okay? Jupiter posited in certain good house. Of course, during the delivery of the result of Jupiter, it will also give the result of that house, and there will be some obstructions. But the same thing will not happen when the house lord's Dasa will go, because the house lord is not the Badhaka for that native. Very clear? Jupiter, suppose Jupiter, Gulika is being posited at the Sagittarius and Jupiter become the Badhaka for Virgo ascendant because the seventh lord here. So, Jupiter is posited in the fifth house of Capricorn, debilitated. So, don't get into debilitation, exaltation, but during the Dasa of Jupiter, there will be problem. Let us debilitation will be an issue here, such whether it be a debilitation or Badhaka. You take some other house, take it to the own house, Pisces. Jupiter is posited. So during the Dasa of Jupiter, you are expecting marriage, but it will not happen. Here, Jupiter also the ownership of the house. Again, problem. Let's take Jupiter to Taurus. Jupiter being posited in the ninth house, if becoming Badhaka for the Virgo ascendant. So during the Dasa, it will not deliver the result of that destiny. But during Venus Dasa, you will get. That's what I want to make the point. While it is posited, it will obstruct the signification of that house. Anyway, let's come to Mandi now. Uttar Kalamit also said that Mandi is different from Guli. So Professor Sastri in his book, translation Uttar Kalamit, has given certain Ghatika. You know, one Ghatika is equal to 24 minutes. 2 Ghatika is equal to 48 minutes is equal to 1 Muhurta, normally used in Muhurta calculation. So he has mentioned that in 26 Ghatikas, in the case of the night birth, that person, the Lagna is rising, that will become as Mandi. Then again, 24 Ghatika, I am not exactly quoting the figures, but some figures are mentioned. That means the Lagna time of Mandi are fixed. That's what Professor Sastry is saying there. You can refer to the English translation. Unfortunately, softwares calculate the middle time as Mandi. 6:30 to 8. Now 6:30 to 8 in between is coming 7:15. The Lagna at that time is Mandi. But almost same. If you go for that calculation also, Mandi and Gulik will stay either in the same house or in adjacent house. If you go by software, then always Mandi will be ahead of Gulik. Either they are taking the middle or the end range. So either it will always be ahead of Gulik. But if you go for Ghatika also, it will come near to range of Mandi and Gulik. So in calculation of Badhaka, do not take both of them. Mandi having the shade of Yama can be used in predictive astrology in case of Maraka calculation, which I will come. Shall I come? It's already 51 minutes, okay. But not a Badhaka, you don't take, not necessary. Because same thing it will fall either in the same house or the next house. Gulika and Mandi, they come adjacent. So, yes, Yama's son, Sarbartha Chintamani is saying the classics. So it's Mandi, the son of Mandar, Sanino. Classical reference is there. So you can use Mandi in a predictive astrology. You can use if you are going for Maraka calculation. Badhaka not necessary. Either of you can use. Normally in nowadays software Gulik you can find out. Gulik is also very easy to get, highly defined and approved calculations. So you can easily find. By the night birth, you start the counting from the fifth lord from the Baresa. So you get these calculations anywhere from the YouTube. So there is one those calculation other things I'm not saying because you are not able to catch it without the PPTs. Basically, it is a Kalagada Upagraha. When the time will come that Upagraha is getting activated, that means what does it mean? It is not an Aprakasha Graha which it always existent in the places. Like Dhuma will come around the fourth and fifth house from the sun. Fixed. No change. Because if you add 4 sign and 4 Navamsa, that is 13 degree 20 minute to sun, you will get reach at Dhuma. So basing on the degree of sun, Dhuma will be either in the fifth or in the sixth house. Always. Okay. If you are looking for sun lagna, from sun lagna in a chart, so be careful of this. So Gulik is not like that. Gulik is a Kalabeda Upagraha. So now you are clear. If that 11th Lord, 7th Lord, 9th Lord happens to be the Lord of 64th Navamsa, 22nd Rekkana, or Gulik is posited, either of the Rasi owned by that. 11th Lord, 11th house, so Gulik is not posited in the 11th house. So what? It may be posited in some other Rasi of that planet. Okay, so you can take it like that. Okay, because it is when the planet will come, it is giving obstruction to your life. It is not giving the result, and the 11th house is getting obstructed. Like 11th house is there. In the 11th house only Gulika is posited for Charalagna. So no, Badhaka is not like that. The 7th Lord is Badhaka means only 7th house related Badhaka I will feel. No, no, no. That is the basic mistake. So even if Gulika is posited in the Rasi, the other Rasi owned by that planet, that planet will be counted as a Badhaka. The intensity of Badhaka depends on the Ekokaraka, Akaraka, placement of the planet, and Sarbala of that planet. Planet is not Ekokaraka for the native, but getting Badhaka, let's say, posited in some odd house and highly powerful. And during the Dasa, be careful. But Badhaka is not equal to Maraka. So this is Badhaka, my dear friends. Or else 11th house, very good house again. Ninth house, we all know. The most valued house in any horoscope is ninth house. So that actually clicked my mind when I was a student. Why this faculty is not able to say me? So rudimentary astrology. But anyway, seventh house, same house of your business, marriage. So they are certainly not Badhakas if these conditions are not filled. However, Badhaka mentioned in the class 6, they are not wrong things, but the concepts are wrongly used. Yes, I must say that. There are not the unmentioned things like the Kala Sarpa, Sani Sadesati. Sani Sadesati has got some references of recent researchers have done. Even K.N. Rao has said calculation of some longevity in his book Yogi's Destiny and Wheel of Time, if I remember correctly, or Astrology, no, Destiny and Wheel of Time, either of them. But not the way we are using it. Not at all. Certainly not. साढ़े सात आ गया सब खत्म हो जाएगा आपका no. But here Badhaka concept is very clearly mentioned, but they are often abused. Something is not happening. The 11th dasa is going on. 11th Badhaka का दशा चल रहा है. It is not Badhaka. Check the conditions. If you have some doubts, you are free to write me via email, or you can WhatsApp me, or you can don't put in comment box. Emails and WhatsApp are better option. Suggestions also you can say, but the mistakes I might have made during saying that Stira, Chara, Datmika, I might have made, I think. Yes. Do not take those things literally. My point was very clear to convey you the message. See, I will take 15-20 minutes on Maraka, then we'll stop. Like Badhaka, Maraka is also highly abused. Maraka Dasa is going on so that you are suffering. Wrong astrology. Not all. I am whatever I am saying. I am not saying that you know there are many learned astrologers who know this, but till there are some. But I must say there are some those who say like this. Maraka Dasa. Who are the Maraka? Parasara has mentioned. The first chapter, I don't remember the chapter's number, but it is first is your longevity, chapter for longevity. Then the next chapter is Maraka. So Parasara is indicating that before you say go about Maraka, you go for longevity. Now, what is the role of Maraka? Unlike Badhaka, who are only capable of delivering some obstructing results, mental, physical, during their dasa, Maraka is only used for the calculation of death of the native, which is not at all necessary nowadays. Anytime also, but not necessary. Very occasional cases, if a person is now struggling with death or in the deathbed, very exceptional cases are there honestly, but should not be predicted. Rationally, yes. That is used for that. Person has landed on this earth when he will leave this earth. There is one astrologer in West Bengal. He also writes that using Maraka, he writes the probable time of death also, which is irrational, but he is using that Maraka very correctly. He was saying in a conference, so time of birth and time of death kind of things. But Maraka is only that. Apart from that, there is nothing for Maraka. And before you going to apply the Maraka result for the death, you must calculate the longevity well. While it is Salpayu, where it is a Madhyamayu, where it is a Dirghayu, basing on the current longevity status that is given by UNDP. They give one human development index they create every year. So you see what is the longevity now. Accordingly, you see that what Salpayu is nowadays is not Salpayu 100 years back. So, but however, if somebody has Dirgha, you should not look for the Maraka at the age of 20. Now, what are the Marakas? The second lord, the seventh lord, and the malefics posited in the second house and seventh house. Malefic, Saturn, Mars, and Sun. Malefics posited in the second house and seventh house. Malefics in conjunction with the seventh lord and second lord. How many combinations you have? Parasara has mentioned. So those are the planets. During that time, there is a chance that person will die, provided the longevity calculation already done and it is matching to that. If you see somebody is Dirghayu, no need to apply the Maraka Dasa for that purpose. Apart from that Maraka nature, second house is wealth, seventh house is your wife. I say them very funnily, Dhanalakshmi. Very, very important house. She. So this is another thing. When Maraka Dasa is going on, so you are suffering from problems? No, not. If that planet is posited in some ill houses, the sthana 6, 8, 12, that different issue. But if the planet is posited either in Kendra or Trikona, then nothing to worry about that. So the use of Maraka is sometimes abused, which is not true. So essentially, Badhaka and Maraka are abused. You say either Badhaka is abused most of the cases, sometimes Maraka also. So Badhaka might not be a Badhaka. Maraka has no role. Nobody will come to you to ask, when shall I die, sir? So the basic idea of saying you all this is to educate you, to inform you, and those who are my fellow astrologer students, they can add some suggestions to my lecture if somewhere I am wrong. But this is the fact. Many visitors of many lovers of astrology, they can agree to me. They will agree to me that sorry, you are right. They say that Badhaka Dasa is going on. Yes, Badhaka can be Badhaka only if the conditions I said. Maraka, not at all possible. So, well, fortunately, we somehow capable of ending the video before the time. I was expecting it will come around 1 hour and 30 minutes. So, but I will wind up within 10 minutes. So, very clear now that how can Badhaka be Badhaka not fast. Examine it from the Navamsa chart, from the Rekkana chart, and look for the Lagna always, not the moon. Though classic saying moon, so if you are calculating something from moon Lagna, then look it from moon. Similarly, if you are looking it from the sun Lagna, look from the sun, which is the fourth house, that will become the lord of the 64th Navamsa. But essentially, don't get into those confusion. From the Lagna, 8th house, the Lord. 64th Navamsa, 22nd they are falling. Who is the Lord? You look at the 64th Lord of the 4th house in the Navamsa chart, that is the 64th Navamsa's Lord, and your 8th Lord in the D3 or Dekkana chart, that is the Lord of the Dekkanate chart, and see where Gulik is posited. If this connection is getting created, so finding Badhaka is difficult if you do it manually, but you look at the horoscope immediately, you see whether it is Badhaka or not. Hmm. So I said that Gulik is good in 3, 6, 11. So 11 Gulik is good, but the Lord is getting Badhaka. Yes, because Gulik is posited there. That's how classic says I cannot deviate. Gulik is good provided posited alone. Anyway, so it's a long lecture. Even I will give more long lectures in coming days because I always say I make these videos for serious astro enthusiasts, those who want to learn something or want to know very seriously. The seriousness should be there. Then you look at my videos, quite boring, but in the long run, you will find it useful. And I always say I never come prepared for any topic. Whatever topic comes to my mind, I just go on saying on that topics. And so, pardon me if there are some delay in saying because I have to think in and then say you. That all those being rehearsed earlier, it could be said quickly, but not like that. So that's all for today. Please give your feedbacks. Please subscribe it if you are liking my views, this channel. You have all the rights to dislike it also. But if you are disliking the views, I will be very grateful to you if you are explaining the reasons. You are explaining the reasons for the dislike. For liking, no need to say, sir, it is a good lecture, very good. That's fine. But negative things, if posited very seriously and can be worked upon for the self development. Mm, if you want to listen from me on any topic, you just post it my channel. So these are the basic needs of the YouTube. I just need you learn and you share this video with other serious learners who want to know. Okay, thanks for listening to me for a long time, and God bless you all. We will meet soon if Kala permits and Mahakala allows. Om Namah Shivaya.